From the Green Mountains of central Vermont, this is the News Dump for Sunday, January 19th, 2014, with your hosts, Francis Goodwin and Greg Crawford. I'm Deborah Goodwin.
Thanks, Deborah. The Standard & Poor's 500 index fell for the week after touching an all-time high, as weaker than estimated earnings at companies from Citigroup to CSX offset an improving outlook for the global economy.
As many as 100,000 Ukrainian protesters took to the streets of Kiev to protest a new law against protesting. President Viktor Yanukovych has implemented what are being denounced as unduly draconian measures to establish a police state, resulting in nearly unanimous call for his ouster.
Egyptians voted this week to approve a constitution that will ban political parties based on religion, give women equal rights, and protect the status of minority Coptic Christians.
Just when you thought it was safe to drink the water in Charleston, West Virginia, following a chemical spill of 4-methylcyclohexanate, or whatever that stuff is, into the water supply.
Sounds like super glue.
Really, it's nasty. People are getting sick after being told the danger had passed.
Oh, yeah, you would really believe that if you lived there.
Right, yeah. Hey, good luck with that.
Good luck.
If you like that one, I got some swampland in Florida you're going to love. Okay, so there's another Freedom Works chemical storage facility a mere 15 miles upstream from the first spill. And that one has been cited repeatedly for safety violations.
By the way, this company filed for bankruptcy on Friday, and it's kind of understandable. Deborah was dismayed, just saying.
Oh, yeah, they're just doing it just to get out of their lawsuits, but they can just see the lawsuits stacking up. So.
Well, in a sense, I was thinking, well, what if they didn't? At least they're taking the steps that they got to handle the issue. And, we know that the executives have made plenty of money, but
yeah, do they file for Chapter 7 or 11? Probably 7.
I'm not clear. They're probably just going to liquidate.
But when you put this together with the lengthy history of corporate depredations in West Virginia, being it's basically what they might refer to as a sacrificial state. I mean, they've just brought some serious havoc there for the past God only knows how many years. I mean, the coal companies and the chemical companies and whoever else
So they'll leave this all to the feds to clean up. Or not, as the case may be.
Or whatever. I mean, they're just going to keep, turning
if the
place
company
into
goes
a
bankrupt,
waste dump.
There's probably insurance companies involved, but most of the liability falls on
meanwhile,
the public.
You'd really believe it was cleaned up if you lived there.
Right.
How awful. I wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
An explosion Monday at an illegal gambling hall in Cali City, China, killed 14 people and injured 7. Police believe it was intentional and are investigating it as a crime.
A man with a grenade attacked a school in Cotabato City, Mindanao, Philippines on Monday, injuring more than 24 people.
Community forces took control Tuesday of several towns in the Mexican state of Michoacan, trying to expel the Knights Templar drug cartel forces. They prompted the intervention of the Mexican army against them. That's an interesting story. It's a little bit like the Guardian Angels thing. In New York City these are vigilantes, public vigilantes that are saying, the government's not doing anything, and they're trying to battle these drug gangs themselves. These guys have, automatic weapons and whatnot, and
gold-plated automatic weapons.
And some people are saying, though, that it's really confusing, that these vigilantes are really just working for the rival gangs. So it's just really hard to make head.
Man.
You can't tell one from another without a program. I mean, they're all, everybody is under the thumb of one cartel or another in that neighborhood. I mean, it's just, you can't breathe without running the risk of getting your head chopped off and thrown in the street. So.
Guess where I'm not going on vacation.
Yeah, really.
Or retiring anytime soon.
I would say you might want to reconsider.
For a while, anyway.
Residents of Yarmouk refugee camp in the suburbs of Damascus, Syria, say 46 Palestinians and Syrian residents at the camp have died of starvation and lack of medical care since October from a Syrian army-enforced blockade. A suicide bomber killed 4 people and injured 26 on Thursday in the Lebanese town of Hermel, a Hezbollah stronghold near the Syrian border. Want to take this one, buddy?
Well, I'll just let you have all.
Have all the fun ones? Okay.
No,
yeah.
this is all
Oh, man.
A rocket fired
Such
into the
bad
Lebanese
news.
border town of Arsal on Friday killed 7 people and wounded 15.
At least 26 people were killed Wednesday in a series of attacks in central Iraq. TMZ.com Thursday revealed photos of U.S. Marines burning bodies of Iraqis.
Oh, really?
The release of the photos prompted an investigation by the Department of Defense. It's just one
Wait,
of those war
wait.
trophy picture stories.
From a couple years ago?
I think I don't think it's very recent. I'm not certain.
It's not from the...
Today. No, that's
Well, they've just released the information recently,
I
though,
believe
however.
so.
Still, it's like the Abu
Grave thing.
Ghraib
Yeah, but
pictures.
but I wish I could tell you. I'm not certain the exact date on them. But it's just a war, like I said, a war trophy story. A Thailand-based women's rights group Wednesday accused Myanmar of using rape as a weapon of war.
5 people were injured on Thursday in the Gaza Strip in an Israeli Air Force raid after Palestinian militants fired a rocket towards Ashkelon.
At least 3 people were killed and 15 were injured Friday after an explosion in a passenger train traveling from Peshawar to Karachi, Pakistan. A bomb attack today on an army convoy in the Pakistani city of Banu killed at least 20 soldiers.
21 people were killed on Friday in a suicide bombing attack on a restaurant in Kabul, Afghanistan.
2 people were shot dead Friday in clashes between Muslim Brotherhood supporters and police flared up across Egypt.
An Iranian diplomat was killed yesterday in Yemen's capital of Sana'a, where he resisted gunmen who were trying to kidnap him near the ambassador's residence.
7 suspected militants were killed yesterday by Russian security forces in a shootout, in Dagestan, North Caucasus.
The World Bank said on Wednesday that the world economies affected by the Great Recession are starting to recover. Okay.
Okay.
I am so relieved.
The Fed's been saying that for a while, too.
Well,
that
they
we're in
wish they
recovery
could.
here.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Puh.
A 6 point.
You know, by the way, all this bad news, if I was watching this show, you can cut this out later. If I was watching this show, I would have turned off a long time ago.
I know. I think most people probably do.
It's,
But, you know, they don't want to know. Everybody, you know, it's a shame. It's kind of a drag, isn't it? But, you know, okay. We'll try to happy. Unicorns were discovered in Happy Land. A 6.5 magnitude earthquake was centered Monday off the coast of Puerto Rico. I don't think it caused anything more than,
wow.
some dishes, but
some ripples. Yeah.
I didn't know we had earthquakes off that
earthquakes
coast.
everywhere. World's coming to an end.
This doesn't have your name on it, but I think, I don't know.
All right, well, I'll take it from here. Tonga restored contact with the Hawaii Islands Monday after Cyclone Ian passed through during the weekend, killing 1 person and significantly damaging structures. Heavy rain and landslides killed 20 people in the southeastern Philippines on Monday, mostly in the Mindanao provinces of Davao Oriental and Compostela Valley. Another 13 are missing.
A graphic video that showed the death of a 16-year-old Chinese girl was released Wednesday. Firefighters ran over the girl in July at San Francisco International Airport in the aftermath of the crash landing of Asiana Airlines Flight 214. It was just a sad story. This girl survived the crash.
Thrown from the plane, right?
Well, and then run over by a fire engine.
And then got run over by the fire engine coming.
Went down by the chute. Yeah,
Sorry, that's terrible.
Messed up.
The relentless heat wave scorching Australia has spawned many severe electrical storms, which have, in turn, ignited more than 90 wildfires. Victoria, Australia's second most populous state, reports that more than 320,000 acres of grasslands and woodlands have been incinerated. The extreme heat also caused the Australian Open tennis tournament to suspend play after several competitors passed out on the courts.
They had to postpone play for a couple days because it was over 110 degrees.
Yeah, wow.
Do you have the Governor Jerry Brown declaring a drought story in here?
No.
Well,
Go ahead.
they declared a drought in California because it's the third
Drought emergency, yeah.
the third year in a row that they've had drier temperatures than they should have this time of year.
Yeah, I'd seen pictures of the Sierra supposed, the snow cap that feeds a lot of water to California every year, and there's nothing.
Right.
So it's going to be a very, very dry summer.
They don't call it climate change for nothing.
Well, the lack of water out there is a big issue.
Oh, it's going to be a huge issue.
How do you water your lawn?
Well,
they're saying if you water your lawn, we're going to shoot you.
Yeah.
They said we're going to shoot you?
No, I don't think they've gone quite that far, but they said things will be very, very unpleasant if we catch you pissing water all over your lawn instead of conserving it.
Did you ever notice how if you fly over the Southwest or out the West?
Well, these green patches and
these huge fields in the middle of these arid areas. They're just pulling the water out of the ground and irrigating everything.
Oh yeah,
it's very seems very
well. It's no real secret that the water supply for out west, especially off the Rio Grande, the water table is totally. It's no big secret, and it's not sustainable in the slightest.
Well, they're taking out more. They're taking it out faster than natural resources can replenish it.
Exactly. The area, the urbanization of the areas that are, or the suburbanization of Phoenix. And I know Phoenix is one of the big culprits. All those golf courses and stuff that they have blooming in the desert there, sucking all that water from, and it's not sustainable. It's just not sustainable.
For golf courses. This is not for agriculture to feed people. Some of it's for agriculture, but golf courses in the desert, excuse me?
Ranchers pull it out to keep ponds full for the cattle to drink.
Yeah, which is understandable.
Yeah, but a whole pond, that's you're just
cattle drink a lot. Yeah. They drink a lot.
Yeah.
But golf courses? Jesus.
Oh, man.
So.
Residents, and I'm going to have trouble with this, I'm going to let you say it. Residents of the historic Norwegian village of...
Later story. We're evacuated.
Try again.
Okay, it's later Dalsoryi.
We're evacuated today due to a fire, thank you, Greg, that has destroyed at least 10 homes.
18 people are dead and more than 40 injured in Mumbai, India, following a stampede of Muslim faithful mourning the death of the 102-year-old spiritual leader Sayyidina Muhammad Buhanuddin. Easy for you to say. The victims were trapped when the gates to the Sayyidina's home, Sayyidina is apparently an honorific of some sort, were closed without warning. So they all said, "Ah!" and killed each other.
Oh. And on that bright note, we're going to take a break. We're going to go to Gregory Crawford's weekly rant, and we're going to return. So come right back.
If you dare.
No one's coming back. The news is so bad this week.
Hi, I'm Greg Crawford with the Friday News Dump, brought to you by World News Trust. Last week, we explored the motivations behind efforts to privatize public education and the damage these misguided attempts have wrought. Now I'd like to suggest some alternative ideas to improve education, public and otherwise. This is an incredibly complex issue with myriad ramifications, but we start with the most basic immutable facts and build from there. On the most fundamental level, education prepares children to survive in a hard and brutal environment. But we no longer live in a world where we didn't have to outrun the saber-toothed tiger behind us, just the guy in front of us. The tools of survival have evolved to address the requirements of a society that has evolved and acquired levels of complexity unimagined when the standards for education were first promulgated. Let's start with a new rule. Complete the circle. By this I mean that our social structure should support and promote the best interest of the individual, and the individual, in turn, should conduct him or herself in a manner that supports and promotes the best interests of society. Simple. This concept does not allow for selfishness, however, because selfishness is the single most destructive force on earth. Suck on that, Rand lovers. The young of all warm-blooded creatures learn through play. This is a basic, immutable fact proven by centuries of anecdotal and scientific observation. So it stands to reason that even more structured learning should be, well, fun. And why isn't it? Haha, thought you'd never ask. As the Industrial Revolution gathered steam, the industrialists realized that they needed a better educated workforce. So a public education system was created to educate and indoctrinate nice, obedient little workers. And that guiding principle hasn't changed all that much. But those who want to turn the education of our young people into a revenue stream also want to go all Godzilla on the whole indoctrination thing. The malevolent minions of corporatism even want to do away with recess and summer vacation. Now that is harsh and stupid. But let's not get bogged down in why they're wrong. Let's focus on how to get it right. So, back to play as a learning process. If children are not enjoying themselves, they will not learn. Oh, you can inculcate facts through intimidation and fear, but then you just wind up with a billion little bullies who employ the same tactics when they become adults. And we've seen what kind of a society that gives us. We're living it, and it ain't pretty or sustainable. If kids are given the chance to enjoy the acquisition of knowledge, their eager little minds will soak it up like sponges, and they will be smarter and more innovative workers as a result. They'll also be better people. Unfortunately, we are swimming upstream with this concept. Too many people have a vested interest in the status quo. And kids come into the educational system preconditioned to a degree. So you see what I mean about myriad ramifications? In a perfect world, what might our educational system look like? Let's start with a mission statement of sorts. How about this? As educators and parents, it is our duty to instill in our children not just a love of learning, but a passion for it. Sounds good, but it's easier said than done. However, that does not mean that it can't be done. In our ideal world, teachers don't just spew facts for students to regurgitate in standardized tests. They act as guides while children take the initiative to learn. Kids should be able to view school as a bountiful resource for them to expand their knowledge in preparation for adulthood. With that thought in mind, the instruction they receive should have direct relevance to everyday life. Math should be integrated into how to balance a checkbook, judge the best prices at a supermarket, or create a budget. Now, these things already happen for some students, but it should be true for all of them. And these lessons should involve field trips, lots of field trips, to banks and supermarkets, farms, museums, or any place that might relate to the subject at hand. People who have expertise in any given subject should be regular guests to supplement the knowledge of the teaching team. And these teaching teams should be comprised of people conversant in math, science, history, and the arts. Life is not compartmentalized into rooms off a corridor, and neither should the guidance we give our kids to help them live it. Sometimes a classroom is the best place for conveying knowledge, but the stultifying chambers with all the warmth and charm of a septic tank. There should be comfortable areas where small groups can convene to work out solutions to any given problem. They can then share their findings with other groups. This creates an atmosphere of cooperation rather than competition. Competition is fine for sports, but it has no place in a learning environment. It creates arbitrary divisions and even hostility, neither of which is productive. Cooperation can also extend to letting students be mentors for younger students, or for those who might need a little extra help in understanding certain concepts. This is the way true leadership qualities are nurtured. Now, reading is the most important thing anybody can ever learn. But being told to read Moby Dick as an assignment really takes the fun out of it in a hurry. So how about we give students roles and let them read aloud as the characters? We can intersperse this living lesson with the history of the period and the economic importance of the whaling industry, bring language, literature, and history and economics, even marine science, alive for them. It's already been proven beyond question that smaller is better when it comes to classroom size, but bigger is better when it comes to supplying those classrooms. For instance, a state can negotiate more favorable bulk prices on pencils than a single school or even a district can. The same would hold true for iPads, chairs, or anything else. Then the supplies can be distributed as needed at tremendous savings. If we could dispense with the petty politics for a minute, we could probably come up with a much better way to fund education in general, too. As I said earlier, the myriad ramifications of this topic are vast, and I've barely scratched the surface. Some of these ideas are already being implemented, but only on a limited basis. Anyway, I hope I got you to thinking about the subject of education. That's the first step. Training regiments of drones through standardized testing might serve narrow corporate interests in the short term, but it does nothing to help our children realize rich and fulfilling lives through critical and creative thinking. If America is to survive and thrive, we must divert from our current course of blind service to corporate interests. The enrichment of a few at the expense of the rest of us is a recipe for disaster. And while conflict may be the inevitable result of a clash of these ideologies, we must not let our children's future be casualties of the battle.
And we're back. This is the News Dump for Sunday, January 19th, 2014. I'm Francis Goodwin. This is Gregory Crawford. Behind the camera, wisecracking along, is the lovely Deborah Goodwin. Thanks for joining us. The Guardian reported Thursday that the U.S. National Security Agency collects data from hundreds of millions of text messages each day. And President Obama Friday announced a sprawling reform of the NSA. You know, this story is probably buried further down, and I didn't get it up with this group. The New York Times had an interesting story, I think, on Tuesday about how the NSA is able to just use radios to get into your computer.
Even if it's not hooked up to the internet.
Yeah, good, you know.
That's if they really, really want to find out what your boyfriend's doing.
Resistance is
Whatever.
resistance is
Come
futile.
on, you guys.
You know.
Resistance is futile.
Well,
Really,
what are
it
you
feels
gonna
like
do,
that.
Man, you know.
It's
What are you gonna do?
get off Facebook, get off, get off the computer as much as possible from communication. I mean, I think that's what's people are gonna begin to do.
I think we've already got a bullseye on our back. So.
Yeah.
But we're small potatoes compared to some. So.
Oh man, yeah.
An appeals court in the Philippines ruled on Monday that the jewelry collection of Imelda Marcos, valued at about $150,000 in 1986, is the property of the government of the Philippines. The court ordered the Marcos family to forfeit it.
A court in California acquitted 2 former Fullerton police officers of second-degree murder, involuntary manslaughter, and excessive use of force in the 2011 beating death of Kelly Thomas, a homeless man. Prosecutors plan to drop charges against the 3rd officer.
This is interesting because if you watch the video that was taken by the police cruiser camera, there is no doubt that the man was saying, please, I'm not going to give you any trouble. The jury in this particular case definitely deserves a kick in the gonads. I mean, come on, you guys. A retired police officer shot a man dead and wounded his wife on Monday at a Tampa, Florida movie theater during an argument about the victim texting during the movie previews. This is during the previews. He was texting the babysitter, looking in on their child.
And he tossed popcorn at the former cop, the retired
Because
cop.
the guy was kind of rude, apparently. So.
Yeah, it's just really.
But shooting him for texting, little over the top. You think maybe, huh?
Well, bond was refused, so he's sitting in jail till he, I guess goes to court.
Yep.
Russia Tuesday expelled U.S. journalist David Satter from the Sattler from the country in the first such case since 1982.
2 students were shot and seriously injured on Tuesday at Berendo Middle School in Roswell, New Mexico. Authorities apprehended a 12-year-old male suspect.
Was he an alien male suspect? Roswell?
The gray?
Little gray guy?
Was he the gray guy? No, that's terrible. No, it's a really sad little 12-year-old. I was thinking how his life's down, whatever was going on with him.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make a crack. Do you want
Yeah,
to
but
do that story over?
No. No. I like the little
But
gray
it's,
guy with the gray gun.
it's an illustration of how grotesquely irresponsible, supposedly responsible gun owners can be when so many children are able to get a hold of their parents' guns. It's just
There's
ridiculous.
so many of them.
I was hearing on the news, or hearing some interview where it was people talking about European visitors that come to visit them, like family from Europe, that are scared to death. They think that they're like going to just be like a victim of a drive-by shooting, or that the whole country is just ultra violent, and can
not
you
an
blame them?
unreasonable
Because you
assumption.
certainly can, hear plenty of these these stories. There's no shortage of these,
Anything
unfortunately.
can happen.
Lawmakers in Nigeria Wednesday passed an anti-LGBT rights law that makes gay marriage punishable by up to 14 years in prison. But they really don't want them getting married.
Italy
I don't
says
think that's going to work for the men anyway.
Oh, gosh.
Sorry, that was
man.
terrible. I'm
Oh.
so sorry.
Oh.
Hopefully, we'll cut that out.
Oh, hang your head in shame. It was funny, though. Italy says that it will use the Italian army against the mafia, which is accused of dumping toxic waste in Naples.
A Danish tourist was gang raped in Delhi, India Wednesday after she became lost from her hotel. 2 suspects were arrested in the case.
The New York Times reported on Wednesday that the U.S. National Security Agency uses radio waves to spy on computers that are not hooked up to the internet.
There was the story.
There it was.
A German court in Munich ruled Thursday that Formula One boss Bernie Ecclestone should face bribery charges.
Officials say a child trafficking ring has been smashed in the Philippines through the combined efforts of British, American, and Australian authorities.
According to a search warrant unsealed Thursday by a court in Bristol, Connecticut, former New England Patriots tight end Aaron Hernandez, awaiting trial for a 2013 murder, is under investigation by Boston police as a suspect in a separate 2012 double homicide. Well, that guy's in.
Roid rage, maybe? I mean, yeah, he's in a
Well,
lot of
yeah.
trouble.
I don't
Anything's
know.
possible, but
He seems like he's, well, I shouldn't be judgmental. He seems like he's in a lot of trouble anyway.
That's for sure.
a controversy regarding capital punishment in the United States erupted Friday after the execution of Ohio killer Dennis McGuire took 25 minutes. He suffered, and his children were there to watch it.
It was an experimental protocol because they won't sell the drugs that were in the previous lethal injection, the previous protocol for lethal injections. The drugs they were using are manufactured by European companies, and the Europeans won't sell them to us because we use them for executions.
I don't know.
Now
So
there's
they
a bunch
just
of Republicans saying,
experimented
how
on
about
someone.
firing
Yeah,
squad?
now they're
How about we
saying
just
we
line
should
them,
have
right.
line them right up against that wall. Get all of them right up
Going
there.
back to the
okay,
firing
well,
squad.
We got, you know.
I know. That's what I know.
I don't think one, firing squads 6 of one, half dozen of the other, but I don't think we should be killing people.
We should
Yeah, it
not.
shouldn't be killing people because there's too many people that have been killed that were innocent of the crimes of which they were accused.
It costs more to kill them than it does to put them away for life. So, anyway, that's just, I know a lot of people.
It's not ours to judge in that regard. On a spiritual level, it's this spiritual wrong.
Okay, there's a rant in there somewhere coming up.
Yeah, really.
2 students, a male and female in stable condition, were each shot in the arm Friday by an at-large gunman who may be a student at Philadelphia's Delaware Valley Charter School, a high school.
An autopsy yesterday found that the wife of Indian cabinet Mr. Shashi Tharoor, found dead in her hotel room on Friday, died in what is termed as a sudden unnatural death. Okay, that narrows it down.
Mm-hmm.
Protesters gathered in Bangkok all week to shut down the city's center in an effort to bring down the government of Thai Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra. Shinawatra. A blast today at an anti-government protest at Victory Monument in Bangkok injured 28 protesters, 7 of them seriously.
Former Israeli Prime Minister of Israel, hello, Department of Redundancy Department, hello, Ariel Sharon.
There could be a
Ariel,
German, or
Ariel
not German,
Sharon
probably
was,
not
was
an
buried on
American.
his ranch. I didn't know they had ranches in Israel, but okay, fine. He was buried on his ranch in southern Israel on Tuesday following a state funeral at the Knesset attended by foreign dignitaries and Israelis, amazingly enough.
He was a dental floss tycoon.
He was a dental floss tycoon.
He was really?
Yeah.
No.
Thank you, Frank Zappa.
Noam Chomsky had some decidedly unpleasant things to say.
Well, he
Sharon?
wasn't, Ariel Sharon was not a very nice person. He was pretty harsh.
China conducted a test Monday of a new hypersonic missile vehicle dubbed the Wu-14 or W-14, which has top speeds of Mach 8 to Mach 12. We don't have much time to get out of the way of that.
No, that's pretty bloody fast.
What is it, an airplane?
No, it's a
missile.
They call it a missile vehicle. I think they launch it on an ICBM and then it takes off and comes out.
But it breaks the sound barrier 8 to 12 times, which is very, very fast.
Especially for anti-aircraft defenses, which can't defend.
Yeah, I
against
mean, the
anything
thing,
quickly.
it'd be, boom, okay, it's here. It's
Yeah.
too late.
We have supposedly, especially.
When you hear that sonic boom, kiss your ass goodbye.
Yeah, you won't hear it probably.
You probably wouldn't hear it.
No, get there before the sound does. Yeah.
Just like you never hear the bullet that nails you.
Would you be dead
Because the bullet gets there before the sound does.
arrives? You
You're dead
know.
if you never hear it.
Because the bullet
No,
invariably arrives before the sound wave of its
If no one
explosion
is there
does.
to hear the sound barrier being broken, well, would it
like
be
a-
broken?
Yeah,
Yeah.
forest in the trees.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, the United States on Wednesday returned 11th and 12th century sculptures stolen by art thieves from temples in India.
The movies Gravity and American Hustle lead the nominations for the 86th Academy Awards to be held March 2nd.
One of the last Japanese soldiers to surrender from World War II, Hiru Onanda, died on Friday at the age of 91. Onada surrendered in the Philippines in 1974.
Zara Phillips, granddaughter of Queen Elizabeth II, gave birth to a daughter Friday.
Is that Sarah Ferguson's daughter?
Oh, who keeps up with the royals? I mean, people that have nothing else to do with their time, I suppose.
You know, the
but-
original Fergie?
I'm
It
not
might-
up on
it
my
must be.
peerage. What's that? Not Robert's Rules of Order, or whatever that.
Well, there is an entire
Yeah.
Book of Peerage.
book of peerage, and there's a whole organization that devotes itself to making sure that everybody is where they're supposed to be on any given day. As far as the peerage is concerned.
A whole bunch of people that take that stuff seriously.
Not
Oh,
too
boy.
many more, I don't think.
Well, in Europe, supposedly, in some countries.
Yeah, well.
Anyway, Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni Friday refused to sign a bill that would criminalize homosexuality, saying that homosexuals should be rehabilitated. Okay, good luck with that.
Scientists say a fragment of pelvis bone unearthed in Winchester, England in 1999 may belong to King Alfred the Great or his son, Edward the Elder.
Well!
Alfred was the only one who was awarded the honorific of the Great, and apparently he was a pretty cool guy. But
That's why I called him Great.
yeah, I guess so. But they played pretty fast and loose with the remains of some of their kings and whatnot. If you were from a different family, they said, "Yeah, get him out of here. Throw him in the trash heap. He was the wrong family."
Hey, this is a time-wasting aside, but I was reading this week that scientists think that Alexander the Great probably was poisoned through his wine. That there's this certain kind of plant you can use that if you make wine out of it, that it takes like 10 days to die. And the historical records show that they believe he was poisoned at like a feast or something. But the basic gist of it was most of the poisons would have killed you overnight or pretty quick. So they were trying to figure out what. So they, by the way, the lifespan of kings and emperors and all, it's not that long.
No. With good reason. 16-year-old Lewis Clark of Bristol, United Kingdom, set a new world record yesterday for becoming the youngest person to trek to the South Pole.
16.
Of course, it's summer down there, so it's it's only 80 below.
Oh, yeah, the bikini shots of her. Like,
Don't laugh! Don't laugh! What was the 2013 Sports Illustrated?
in
The
Antarctica?
the swimsuit edition?
Was it done in
Was-
Antarctica?
Yeah, Kate Upton on the beach in a bikini in Antarctica.
Wow.
You got to be 43 different kinds of crazy to do that.
Perky,
Or
huh?
yeah, perky.
Ah, perky, I guess to hell.
They're not fake. They're just perky.
That's it. Thank you for putting up with us. Thank you for joining us. I'm Francis Goodwin.
I'm Greg Crawford.
Oh, I'm Deborah Goodwin.
News Dump, Sunday, January 19th, 2014. See ya.